What employees need most from leaders during times of change. We are living in a time when change feels constant. Companies are investing heavily in artificial intelligence. Some are cutting jobs in the name of efficiency. Other organizations are making bold strategic moves just to stay competitive. And across the global economy, leaders are facing real pressure tied to inflation, conflict, labor disruption, and uncertainty about the future of work. So that raises an important question. What do employees need most from leaders during times of change? The first answer is clarity. When people feel uncertain, they want honest, transparent communication. They need to understand what is happening, why it is happening, and what it may mean for them personally and professionally. This isn't about sharing every detail, but about providing a clear, truthful narrative. That does not mean leaders always have perfect answers. In fact, they usually do not. But strong leaders show up. They don't disappear, avoid hard conversations, or leave people to fill the void with their own worst-case scenarios. They are present and engaged. During change, silence creates stress and breeds mistrust. Consistent, clear communication builds psychological safety and reinforces trust. And that trust is paramount because employees can often handle difficult news far better than they can handle confusing or incomplete news. The second thing employees need is stability. Now, that does not mean leaders can promise that nothing will change. In many cases, change is unavoidable. But leaders can still create stability through their own behavior. They can stay calm, even when things are turbulent. They can stay visible and accessible. They can be consistent in their messaging and actions. They can make sure people know the immediate expectations, the core priorities, and the very next steps to take. This provides an anchor in the storm. In other words, when the environment feels shaky, leaders need to be steady. The third thing employees need is empathy. This one is huge. When organizations go through restructuring, layoffs, new technology adoption, or major strategic changes, leaders sometimes focus so much on the business decision that they forget the human side of the decision. But employees are not machines. They are people. They may be dealing with fear, frustration, confusion, or burnout. They may be wondering whether they still matter, whether their job is secure, or whether the organization still values them. A strong leader recognizes that. They listen, they acknowledge concerns, and they respond in ways that show respect. That does not make change easy, but it makes leadership more credible. Another thing employees need from leaders is direction. In uncertain times, people look for someone who can help them make sense of what matters most right now. What should we focus on? What should we stop doing? What is the priority? Where are we headed? This is where leadership becomes different from just management. Managers often organize tasks. Leaders help people move forward with purpose. And right now, that matters more than ever. In the business world, some companies are reducing jobs while increasing AI investment, creating palpable anxiety. Reuters reported that AI was linked to 7% of planned U.S. layoffs in January, with tens of thousands of AI-linked job cuts globally. This is a profound leadership challenge. Employees are watching how leaders treat people while pursuing innovation. Trust is on the line, and transparent, empathetic communication is paramount. We're also seeing leaders float major strategic changes in uncertain conditions. For example, the CEO of United Airlines raised the idea of a possible combination with American Airlines. This kind of public maneuvering highlights the immense external pressures leaders face from competitors and shareholders. It reminds us that leaders often make decisions in environments shaped by intense pressure, calculated risk, and incomplete information. That brings us to another critical leadership need: proactive development. It's no longer enough to simply offer training. Employees want to know that leaders are investing in their future, helping people grow through change. This means creating a culture of continuous learning, where upskilling is integrated into the daily work. Leadership is tested by character, especially in change. Are workers being trained? Are they being prepared for new expectations? Are they being given a chance to adapt? Strong leaders do not just say, "Change is coming." They help people get ready. That is especially important in an AI-driven workplace. If leaders want trust, they cannot focus only on efficiency. They also have to focus on reskilling, communication, and fairness. Reuters' recent reporting on layoffs tied to AI investment makes that tension very visible. Finally, employees need integrity. During times of change, people pay very close attention to whether leadership actions match leadership words. If leaders talk about values but behave differently under pressure, employees notice. If leaders say people matter but communicate carelessly, employees notice. If leaders ask for trust without showing honesty, accountability, and respect, employees notice that too. So in times of change, leadership is not tested only by results. It is tested by character. At the end of the day, employees understand that business is complex. They do not expect leaders to have a magic wand to remove every challenge. That is simply not realistic. But they do need leaders to provide a foundation of stability by communicating clearly, staying steady, showing empathy, providing direction, investing in development, and acting with integrity. Because when change is high, trust becomes the essential currency of leadership. And when that trust is strong, people are much more willing to adapt, contribute, and move forward together. So maybe that is the real lesson. In stable times, leaders can focus heavily on performance. But in uncertain times, they must also protect trust above all else. And that may be one of the most important and lasting leadership responsibilities of all. Before you move on, take a moment to think about this. If you were leading a team through layoffs, rapid technology changes, or major uncertainty, what would your employees need most from you? And how would you show it?